Hello, folks. If you have ever dislocated or subluxated or messed up your shoulder in a bad way and feel like your shoulder's out of the socket, do not have a physical therapist put it back in. Big mistake. You're going to end up like her, and I'm going to explain what happened to her. Suparna, thank you for letting us do this video. First of all, so Suparna here has had a stroke, first of all. So number one, she's got dystonia. Her hand kind of creeps in and cramps in. Okay, so she's got dystonia post-stroke, but also she's had a few falls. And you can't see from here, but her shoulder is completely out of its socket. You can see the ball right here, okay, and it's shifted forward and medial. But what happened was a radiologist that was going to take an x-ray of her, tried to straighten her arm out, aggravated it. But then she went to a physical therapist, and the physical therapist tried to manipulate and put the shoulder back in.
Before that, the first thing I went to physical therapist in American Presbyterian Hospital. And,
Okay.
I took Botox for dystonia. My hand was going backward.
Okay, it was getting worse.
Yeah,
okay,
so
so she did Botox for the dystonia, and it got worse.
Then I went to American Presbyterian, and they, this woman, she tried to put my shoulder into socket.
Yeah.
And then it got worse.
Yeah. So she had a physical therapist try to put the shoulder back in the socket, and she made a big mistake. Number one, physical therapist, unless you're a doctor of physical therapy, you shouldn't be manipulating the joints like that. You shouldn't be putting a shoulder back into its place. Physical therapy is the study of soft tissue and muscles, not bones and joints. That's what chiropractors are better at doing. Also, another big mistake, she didn't look at an MRI. Anytime somebody has a fall, even a stroke like that, stroke not as important to do an MRI, but because she had several falls with her arm and shoulder involved, an MRI should have been done, and she should have looked at that MRI before she started yanking on her shoulder. And the reason why her shoulder is now much worse is because she's got a ton of arthritis in the shoulder. She's got a little bursitis. She's got a torn rotator cuff, a complete tear of the supraspinatus, a partial tear of another rotator cuff, and then she has a spur inside the glenohumeral joint. So if you put that shoulder back in, you're going to scrape up on that osteophyte, that arthritic spur, and of course it's going to cause problems. Plus she has torn rotator cuff muscles. You can't just go and thrust that shoulder back into its proper place. So unfortunately, she does need surgery. But what we're doing right now, just to kind of ease the pain a little bit for her, is cold laser therapy, and that's going to reduce the inflammation and just take the edge off a little bit. But I wanted to go over this because sometimes people are even trying to put their own shoulder in the socket. Don't do that, okay? I've dislocated my shoulders about 7 times since I was in high school, and I've never had surgery, and I've rehabbed my shoulders. But I didn't put my shoulder back in. I'm a chiropractor. I can't even put my shoulder back into place. So don't think that you can, because you can't, okay? So in this situation, you really have to be careful when someone that may not be qualified to manipulate or to do a certain procedure, you really got to make sure that they know what they're doing, okay? And in this situation, she should have never done that. She should have never forcibly manipulated her shoulder without either looking at an x-ray, an MRI, or both, okay? And now, We can't manipulate the shoulder because we're going to make it worse because she's got a significant amount of arthritis there in the shoulder joint. So what we'll do is we'll take some of the edge off here with a cold laser. We will then refer her out to an orthopedic surgeon here in New York City, and we'll see her afterwards to rehab the shoulder. So if you guys have any questions or comments about shoulder subluxation or shoulder dislocation or separation, and how to proceed, sure, comment below. I'd be happy to answer you. But bottom line is, before any manipulation is done in that shoulder, you want to make sure that there are no serious soft tissue injuries in the shoulder joint. So I hope that answers some of your questions. I hope you guys got something from this video. I want to thank you for letting us use you as an example. I'm sorry that you're going through this, all right? But you're going to get help here, okay? Okay, folks, thanks for tuning in.